You know, every time you pick a bottle of wine, you're actually stepping right into the middle of a century-old battle. It's this huge clash of philosophies, of cultures, and it all boils down to one simple question.
I mean, think about it, right? You pick up a French wine and it might just say Pêchardmont on the label. It just assumes you know that means a specific blend of grapes from a very specific place. But then you grab an Argentinian wine and it's proudly shouting Malbec right on the front, with the region almost as an afterthought. Now that's not an accident. It's the result of two completely different ways of thinking about what wine is supposed to be. So, to really get this, we have to start in France. For hundreds of years, their whole approach, which is built around this idea called terroir, wasn't just one way to think about wine, it was pretty much the only way.
It all comes down to this one kind of magical, untranslatable French word, terroir. It's this deep belief that the land itself is the real artist. The soil, the sun, the way the hill slopes, even the traditions of the people who've worked that land for generations, all of it, every last bit, gets expressed in the glass. The idea is that this wine could not have come from anywhere else on Earth.
And to protect this precious idea of terroir, France went and created the Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée, or the AOC system. This thing is the ultimate rulebook. Think of it like a powerful gatekeeper with a set of ironclad laws telling winemakers exactly which grapes they can grow, precisely where they can grow them, and even how they have to make the wine. It's all designed to preserve the unique identity of that one specific place.
And right there, that's the fundamental clash in philosophy. In the old world, the winemaker is basically a steward, right? Their job is to get out of the way and just let nature speak through the wine. But in the new world, especially in places like California or South America, the winemaker is the hero of the story. They use science and technology to control nature, to tame it, to create a perfect, consistent product year after year.
And when we say the rules are strict, we mean unbelievably strict. What you're looking at here, this giant list, this isn't a list of approved towns. Oh no, this is a partial list of 216 towns that were recently kicked out of the rulebook for just one single wine region. The system is a fortress of tradition, and it is not designed to bend. But you know, the first major crack in this fortress, it didn't come from some competitor overseas. It came from within, from a bunch of rebels in the Languedoc, a region that the French wine elite had always looked down on as the home of cheap, boring wine.
So let me tell you about this guy, Aimé Guibert. He was a total outsider who bought some land in the Languedoc, and he just knew his terroir was special. So he broke the law. He planted high-quality grapes from Bordeaux, used all the best techniques, and he made an absolutely world-class wine. And the French establishment, they wouldn't even taste it. Why? Because it came from the wrong place and broke all their precious rules.
So what does Gubert do? He sends his wine abroad, and the critics in London and New York who couldn't care less about the French rulebook were completely blown away. They judged the wine for what was in the glass, not the name on the label. And just like that, this illegal, rule-breaking wine from a lowly region was suddenly famous. It was proof that incredible quality could exist outside the AOC's walls.
And Gilbert wasn't just some one-off. His success kicked off a revolution. Today, nearly a third, 32%, of the top producers in the Languedoc-Roussillon region openly defy tradition. They make their official AOC wines to follow the rules, but they also make these rule-breaking vins de paix, or country wines. And get this, a lot of the time, it's those rule-breaking bottles that are their most famous and most expensive wines.
So while all this drama was unfolding in France, a totally different philosophy was just exploding across the rest of the globe. And this movement, led by New World countries like Argentina, had a very simple, very powerful answer to the Old World's complexity. Forget the place, the grape is king.
You can see this whole philosophy right there on the label. A French bottle says Bergerac and just hopes you know what that means. An Argentinian bottle flips the whole script. It shouts Malbec. The grape is the star of the show. It's clear, it's simple, and anyone, anywhere in the world can understand it.
And man, did this approach work. Argentina became an absolute global powerhouse. I mean, look at this. They now have the 7th largest area of vineyards in the entire world, and they're the 10th largest exporter by value. The New World wasn't some little niche anymore, it was a major force, and it was reshaping the entire industry. And just to give you a sense of how global this whole thing has become, here's a fact that might blow your mind. The world's biggest grape producer, it isn't France, it's not Italy, it's China. And it's not even close. The world of wine had grown way, way beyond its old European backyard.
And here's another thing. It's not even all about wine. We tend to forget that less than half of all the grapes grown in the world actually end up in a bottle. This global boom was part of a much bigger agricultural picture, where the grape itself, not just the wine, became this massive global commodity.
Okay, so we've got our two competing philosophies, right? The old world, totally focused on place, and the new world, championing the grape. Well, this is where they finally go head-to-head, out in the wild, fierce, competitive global market.
This competition isn't just about taste, it's about cold, hard economics. Just look at a huge market like China. The trade rules basically pick the winners. A New World country like Chile, thanks to a trade deal, gets a 0% tariff. Zero. But Old World France, and even its New World rival Argentina, gets slapped with a 14% tariff. That makes their wines more expensive before they even hit the shelf.
And the New World combined this economic edge with an absolutely brilliant marketing strategy. It's summed up perfectly here by a French innovator who actually copied their methods. Instead of making you learn hundreds of complicated, hard-to-pronounce French place names, they gave the world about a dozen easy words to remember: Chardonnay, Merlot, Malbec. It was simple, it was genius.
And the results, well, they really do speak for themselves. If you look at the value of wine exports, you can see that, yeah, traditional powerhouses like France are still dominant, pulling in almost $12 billion. But New World players like Chile and Argentina are serious, heavy-hitting competitors on the world stage. The battle for your wine glass had officially gone global.
So after all that, who won the battle? Was it place or was it grape?
Well, the funny thing is, what's happening now isn't really a victory for one side. It's more like a synthesis. The lines are blurring, and it's creating a way more interesting and diverse wine world for all of us.
What's happening is this really cool blend. Old World producers are finally starting to put grape names on their labels, learning from New World marketing. And at the exact same time, New World producers are getting serious about terroir. I mean, Argentina alone now has over 120 of its own geographical indications to highlight its unique places. And it's working. Sales of these place-specific wines have absolutely skyrocketed.
So that's really the whole journey we've been on. We started with the rigid, old-school rules of the Old World. Then came the New World Challenge, championing the grape and innovation. After a huge global competition, we've landed here, in this new synthesis, a fascinating blend of the best of both worlds.
Which of course brings us all the way back to you. The next time you're standing in front of that wall of wine, you'll know the secret story behind those labels. You'll get the philosophies that put them there. So the real question is, what story do you want to drink? The story of a specific, unique piece of land? The story of a celebrated and powerful grape? Or maybe the story of how those two ideas are finally coming together right there in your glass?